Welcome, welcome, welcome to Faith Unfiltered. Again, I am always glad to see you, and I am glad that you are here. So today I'm going to talk about feeling stuck. What does that mean when you feel stuck? In terms of feeling stuck, in terms of, why you're not healed yet, why it hasn't happened yet. You've been waiting. You've prayed, you've fasted, you've had other people pray for you. You've gone to church. You've done everything right. And you still are not healed. That's kind of a crossroad. You're like kind of stuck. Well, is there such a thing as being stuck with God? No. His word doesn't say, okay, now you're stuck here. When Jesus walked the earth, everybody he came in contact with, he either taught them or healed them, or taught them and healed them, or just healed them. There was no stuck. And any and everybody that Jesus touched, they were healed. So there's no such thing as getting stuck. So, okay, if I'm not stuck, then what's going on? Well, let me tell you about the guy named Naaman. Because there are many, many reasons why people don't get healed or aren't healed. And I can't say whether you are doing everything right or not doing everything right, but there are just many, many reasons. And one that I would really like to share with you is that it's not about you doing everything that you're supposed to do to get healed, because there's no such thing. There's nothing like doing everything that you're supposed to do to get healed. Because in a previous video, I talked about Mark 11:22-24, right? It says to speak to your mountains. And once you speak to your mountains, if your mountain is poverty, if your mountain is debt, if your mountain is healing, if your mountain is meeting your wife or husband, then speak to that. Find some scriptures in the word and speak to that. And since these videos are about healing, then I'm going to speak to healing. Okay? So let me tell you about this guy named Naaman. In 2 Kings, in 2 Kings chapter 5, it talks about Naaman. Now, if you don't know anything about Naaman, I created a video all about Naaman. But Naaman was this highly respected master of one of the soldiers, the army, right? He was well respected, he was well liked, but he also had leprosy. So technically, he wasn't supposed to be the leader of anything. He's supposed to be shunned somewhere so he couldn't spread this disease that he already had. So one day, when he was off warring, he brought back this servant girl. And he made the servant girl the servant for his wife. And one day, Naaman came in there, and the servant girl said, hey, I know somebody who can help heal that leprosy that you have. Well, Naaman didn't ask any questions. He didn't say who it is. He didn't really care. He made a beeline to the king. I think it was the king of Syria at that time. He made a beeline to the king and said, look, the servant girl that's serving my wife told me that there's a man where she came from who could heal me. So the king said, bet, go ahead. Packed him up with some stuff, gave him some gifts for this person that's going to heal him, and sent him on his way. So he gets down there, he takes some servants with him and all of the gifts and all of the donkeys and everything. And he gets down there and he meets the king of this place where he was told that he could get healed. And the king, there's a lot more to the story, but the king directed him. So the king directed him to Elisha and said, oh, you talking about Elisha. Elisha is the one that you need to talk to. So he sent him on his way over to Elisha's house. Now, remember, Naaman is a well-respected, highly regarded leader of this army. Everybody respected him, and everybody did exactly what he said. Even the king of Assyria respected him because he allowed him to go and get this healing from this guy they found out whose name was Elisha. So Naaman gets down there. The king of that where he went to sent him over to Elisha's house. They get there, him and his guards, and they knock on the door, say, I can just, that's kind of a little chorussology, but you knock on the door, and Elijah sends out his messenger and tells Naaman, look, this is what you got to do. The guy said, just go on down to the Jordan, dip yourself 7 times, and you're going to be healed. Well, that didn't sit too well with Naaman, because he thought that since he had this status, that this guy is supposed to come out and speak with him directly, not send out some messenger to give him orders. Who do you think you are? Do you know who I am? Says Naaman. So Naaman was not happy. So he walked away with his little attitude, and he's going to go head on. Now, he came to get healed from leprosy, but he's still leaving with leprosy. Why? Because his pride overrided the fact that he could get healed, no matter where the message came from, right? I thought that was funny. So his servant gallops up to him, because I can see Naaman kind of running away in a huff, right? They didn't have cars then, so he couldn't speed away, but him and his horse just sped away in a huff. Who does this guy think he is, sending out a messenger to come talk to me? So his servant, and even his servants respected him, and his servant caught up to him and said, look, we came all this way. Now, I don't know if this is the conversation. I wasn't there, but I'm making this up. But he said, we came all this way, and he gave you instructions. He told you what you need to do, and you came to get healed. Does it matter who the messenger was? So I can see Naaman, having a little attitude and having a little fit, right? I can see him having his little fit. But then he decided, well, I guess you're right. I guess you got a point. But that shows some humbleness with Naaman as well. So you got to give it up for him for that. So Naaman, him and his servants went on to the Jordan River. And Naaman went on in. And again, there's so much more to the story, especially about the Jordan, because Naaman was complaining that why did he have to tell him to go to the Jordan? The Jordan was supposed to have been this muddy, dirty river or body of water. Why couldn't he tell him to go to some of the cleaner rivers or lakes to dip in? So he complained about that as well. But he went on to the Jordan. He went on and dipped 7 times. And the 7th time that he came up, he was completely healed. So what's the moral of the story here? The moral of the story is maybe one of the reasons why you're stuck is because you're not listening. Maybe one of the reasons why you're stuck is because you can't hear. Maybe one of the reasons why you're stuck is because you don't like the messenger instead of the message. So you're not focusing on the message, but the messenger. So it doesn't matter what the message or who the messenger is. What matters is the message. Now, this might not be for everybody who's listening to this video. This might be for some people. Keep on listening, because I'm going to share some additional reasons why people don't get healed. But there's no such thing as stuck in the word, because God says that his word is true and sharper than any two-edged sword. And if he says that you're healed, then you are healed, because the Bible says, let God be true and every man a liar. So if you're not healed, then you're lying, because God is telling you the truth. Okay? So you are not stuck. You are not stuck. So go ahead, if you want to learn more, go ahead and select the link down there in my bio. There's 3 links down there. There's one for you to go ahead and enroll in my VIP day. There's one for you to get a free mini guide so you can start learning how to change your mindset and change your thinking about what you about your healing and how you can get your healing. And there's another link where you can go ahead and just enroll. I run my classes every once a month, so you can go ahead and enroll in the next class. And I hope you do, because this is some serious stuff. We are Christians. We should be walking around free. We should not be bound by any sickness or disease, or allowing that sickness or disease to control us. So go ahead and select that in the link. Go ahead and subscribe so you can help not only me, but help so many other people out there who need to hear something like this. So thanks again for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.